In our last video, we created this page. We gave it this multi-column layout. But now we need to look at making this a little bit more mobile friendly and responsive. So I want to take a look at some different things that we need to do so that we can set up these style rules. So first I'm going to hit F12 just so that I can bring up my developer toolbar here and go into the toggle device toolbar. That way I can resize this, and here at the very top we have the width for the screen that we want to style. So here I want to see when we get to about tablet, here's mobile, tablet, laptop. Alright, so at a tablet size, 768. So we'll go with about 800. And we'll go with 800. We want to go ahead and drop this down to the 2 columns and the 1 column. And we can look at that again here. For the tablet view, what we have is image, caption, text, and then that column 3 will drop down into its own. So at about 800 pixels. So here I'm just going to put a comment into my CSS so that we have tablet 800 pixels and mobile, when we want to drop to that, is going to be, when we have some different mobile sizes. That really doesn't look good. We can see, I think we'll go 500 pixels has our text pretty small. So maybe we'll go 600. 600 pixels will go ahead and drop down to that single column layout for everything. So here, again in the CSS, I'm going to change this. I'm going to just make a note for 600 pixels. And then here I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of new style sheets. So here, now we'll just go ahead and do some media queries. We'll do one new style sheet. How's that? File, language, CSS, save as, and then in here I'm going to put responsive styles.css. Save that, and I'm going to move these comments for these sizes to my responsive styles.css, just so that I have them here. And I know I want this at media only screen and max width 800 pixels. And then I'm going to copy that entire rule, put it down here, and just change this to the 600 pixels. And so that I remember what these are for, or what sizes. Whoops. I'm going to put in this note, tablet, styles, and mobile styles. Alright, because I have that in here now, I'm going to go and take out that comment. And then we can start adding some of our styles to this. Once we get down to this 800 pixels, we can start I'm doing some things with this, and actually first, because laptop screens also have some stuff, here in index.html, I'm going to create the link to this style sheet. So responsive styles. And then remember, we can add this media rule so that we can pull in the style sheet under a certain circumstance. So here, when we use that device toolbar, we can see we did have a laptop size 1024. I think that still looks okay at three columns. Yeah, once we start getting much lower than that, then it's not looking real great. So we'll go ahead and cut it off at 1,000. We'll use 1,000 pixels for that laptop size. So once it gets down that far, then with this screen and max width 1,000 pixels. Once we get down to that point, it will pull in this style sheet, but not until then. So now, just to check and make sure, yeah, we'll say background, nope, body, background color green. Save that just so that we can look at this and see we don't have that green there. F12, our device toolbar. Nope, that was the wrong window. So here we go. When we refresh this using our device toolbar, we can see once we get down to that point, we do get that new style, so we know that is in there correctly. So now we can take that back out of there because we know this is getting pulled in the way we want. And we can put in some default or some styles here that would work for our laptop view. I'm going to put in a note saying laptop styles so that I have these separated and we know what these particular styles are for. And now at this point, once it gets down to that laptop size, we want to go ahead and start dropping down to that 2 column. So I know we have called -1, yes, -1 and -2. I want to increase their width to 45% and -3, give that a width of 100%. And that way, these are going to take up enough space that column 3 can't go up against column 1 and 2. These are taking up 90%. So now when we save this, we refresh our page, we can see we are getting that 2 column layout. Here's the 3 column. When we get down to below 1,000 pixels, we drop down to a 2 column layout. And then we have this view. So now we're getting that tablet look that we wanted to go for. And we're going to add in some other styles here in just a moment so that we can do some things for that tablet view Here's our laptop view. Now here are tablet styles. We want to, once we get down much more, we're going to take these tablet styles, and instead of this planned of having the sidebar over here, we can see that once we shrink this down much more, that's really not going to look great. Once we get down to this 800, or between 7 and 800, this is just too cram-packed together. So we're going to change up this look a little bit, where we're going to put these sidebars below the main content. So when we get to that point, I want to set the main content. So inside of the curly brackets for this media query, the main, was that an ID that I gave that? Yes, ID of main content. Then I'm going to give that a width of 100%, and I don't want this to float anymore. So float none. And then I can save that, refresh this, see what happens. Nothing happened yet. And that's because we're above that 800 pixels. Once we drop down below that 800 pixels, we can see that did drop down. Once we get back above it, it goes to the side. But once we get down here, this works, but I can see these columns are a little too small. So what I want to do is style that class of sidebar parts. And then I want to tell that float none, and give those a width of 100%. I think I may have wanted to style that a side element instead. Yeah. So instead of the sidebar parts, I just want to style the sidebar itself. So let's save that, refresh our page. Now those are going that full width at this point. And looking at this tablet view, that works. It works pretty well. So now let's go down to the 600 pixels and see how things look at that point. So here's right about 600 pixels. Doesn't look too bad. We still have two columns up here. We need to take care of that. And then we'll go ahead and look at removing this Super Mario Facts, this sidebar 2 that we have down here when we get to this view. So here, now that we're down to this mobile view, we want this to be one column. So here I can tell this hashtag cold-1, cold-2, cold-3, so that I'm styling those. And I could give those all a single class so that when I want to style all three of them, I could do that. But this was how we set it up, so we're going to go with it this way instead of changing up the HTML again. So now at this point, I want to set all of those to a width of 100%, float none. And now when I save this, refresh my page, I can see we did get down to this one column here, one column here, one column here, and all the way down it's in one column. We still have this bottom sidebar piece, so we need to look and see that's sidebar 2. So here in the responsive styles, at that point, I want to select the ID sidebar 2, and we're just going to tell it display none. That way it will hide it when it gets down to that point. So we can see we don't see it. If we increase the size a little bit, we do, because we're now back to this layout. And once we hit this layout, that one disappears.